received one of these when you came in. As we have words for a song on it, we're going to start with a song called "We've a Story to Tell the Nations." Please sing along if you know it. Come on up here. Yes, we should sing and stand. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Beth Williman. She's going to come up here for a second. Go ahead and have a seat. Relax.
I don't need to use a mic. No. Okay. It is so good to see you all here tonight, and I'm especially excited to see Nancy Jarvis. Nancy and I grew up here together in Chippewa Lake many, many moons ago. And this song, I don't know if Nancy remembers, but these songs we remember from our childhood, and they have shaped us. And missions has been my heart since I was a kid. And we just finished our missions conference this weekend back in Tiffin, and so I was delighted that I could be here tonight. I just have had the most amazing privilege of getting to know Daniel Shayesteh about, I think, 15 years ago. My pastor said, I heard this guy, we have to get him here. And I was on the missions committee at that point, so I said, well, give me his number. And Daniel came, and you will not be disappointed. Daniel's story is amazing. From being a radical, we're talking radical Muslim, not just superficial, radical Muslim, teaching young people to kill Christians like you and I, to a man of God who is so humble and reaching millions of Muslims through YouTube and his, get on the internet, you can find his website, Exodus from Darkness. Those things are on his books and not hard to find at all. So I'm not going to take much more time. Daniel comes to us from Australia. He's living there now, he and his wife, and they have 3 daughters, grown. One is married, so he has 2 grandkids. And So it's a privilege for us to have him here, and I just will remind you that after he speaks, we will be taking a love offering for his ministry and to help with his travel expenses. He does have several books here, and there's one we only have one copy, but you can see it. And he has mentioned just now to me that if several of you want that particular book, he'll order a box, and then I'll bring them the next time we're back over here in Chip. But you will just thoroughly enjoy reading his books, and tonight you're in for a special treat. So Daniel.
Thank you so much. So wonderful to be here with you. And Beth really has been an amazing person, John and Beth, in my ministry, and she's an amazing sister, just for talking to people. She's very persistent. I can't do that. She just knocks every door. And also, thank you for your kindness. I came here, almost everybody asked me, how's your wife? I said, oh my goodness, am I a member of this church? Did I forget? But really, thank you. My wife is doing well, and God's mercy towards us was amazing. She survived, and she's doing pretty well. And I praise the Lord also for this opportunity that I am here with you, and that He has opened the door for me to speak to millions of people in the world. What an honor. It's a tough ministry. My ministry is very tough. I was rescued by the grace of God, even in European countries, Western countries, for 4 times so far. But He has given that courage for me to speak out, because that's the only tool we have in our ministry, to touch the hearts and minds of people. We don't have any other tool like socialists have, like Muslims have, and others have. So that's what I'm doing, and it's really an amazing privilege for me. I'm coming from a very dark background, very, as Beth mentioned, very dark background. I was a model leader, a politician, a teacher, and God changed my life in an amazing way. And amazing because people are amazed that He changed my life, especially for an Islamic country, especially from my motherland, Iran. So I'm going to give you a brief on my testimony tonight, but as Beth mentioned, that's here, the house I left behind. Unfortunately, we don't have any copy. That's her copy, Beth's copy. So if several of you are interested, just let me know. Let us know, so I can order and comes to Beth. She can come and she can read to you. How Lord really changed my life in an amazing way. It's a very educational book. All my books are like that. You'll hear me tonight how He changed my life in every way. He touched my heart and mind in every way. So this is the book compared Islam with Christianity, Islam and the Son of God. Muslims hate the phrase Son of God, and or Jesus is God, or Trinity. It's Quran says they have to be killed. Quran says you have to be killed for believing that, and you go to hell. And so that's why I have just described everything here, lots of Quranic verses here, and just revealing the superiority of Christ in every way. And we need to know, because there are 9 million Muslims living in America. So they are affecting American culture, Western culture. And there are chiefs in some organizations, governmental and others. And some of them are very committed to change the law to favor Islam. They have already done some of them. So we need to know, and God has brought them here for us, for you, to change their lives, you know. And so we need to know. Christ above all is a Christianized version of my doctorate thesis, comparing 9 world's major religions and philosophies, ideologies like socialism, like New Age, humanism, and with other world major religions to reveal the superiority of Christ. It's an evangelical book in a simple way, gives you a good introduction about every religion, and then full of questions and responses here, the problems with all other beliefs and why Jesus is superior. We need to have reason. People, you know, especially in Western countries, Christianity is challenged, have been challenged a lot, and we need to respond to them. And also, if we know a little bit about other religions, we'll hug the Lord so firmly. We'll say, wow. And so I encourage you to read them. Don't worry about the money. I live by faith, and you don't feel obligated. It just everything belongs to the Lord. And everything comes from you also, belongs to the Lord. You know, I have got a lot of plans, and I praise His name that so far He has been wonderful. I'm going to give you a brief of my testimony, show you some pictures. And by the way, I have got a list there. Those of you who love to pray for my ministry, you can leave your email there. You can get our prayer points and pray for us. This is the country, Iran, I have come from. It's the country of Persia. The name was changed around 90 years ago. It's the country of Cyrus and Darius. They are in the Bible. It's the country of Daniel and Esther. Esther was the queen of Persia. Their tombs are in Iran still. I have come from the northern part. It doesn't show on the TV screen, just by the Caspian Sea. Born in a Muslim family. My father had 2 wives and 12 children. We were all living together. Because I was a good student, they expected me to be good also in religious area, so they encouraged me and invested in my life, and hoping that I could become a good religious leader or person in the future. They didn't know I was going to be a good religious man like this. Otherwise they wouldn't spend in my life. And but God knows how to work, really, and prepared me to, you know Islam to some extent. So I started to memorize, especially recitation of the Quran with voice. That's very important. I had voice attracting people. I mean, songs and music are evil in Islam. Committed Muslims never listen to music, even in America. But that's like a chanting, it's reciting the Quran with voice. It's very popular. And also I learned the Islamic rituals. So I became a famous boy at the age of 9. People called me to their different religious ceremonies. I recited the Quran and did Islamic, performed Islamic rituals. We didn't know anything about Christianity. I don't know how many of you know that. Islam, the start of Islam is exactly similar to Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons. It is started from a church, actually. The Prophet of Islam was going to a church. His first wife was a Christian, 15 years older than him. And His uncle was a Christian. His cousin, they were all converts, convert from pagan. His cousin was the priest of the church and older than him. So he was an orphan from childhood. He was taken by his uncle to a church. So around 30 years he went to the church. And after his wife died and the priest died, he moved from that city to another city, from Mecca to Medina. There he took refuge in a tribe because Saudi Arabia was not safe at all. It still is not safe, to go there. In that time, even unsafe for men, you had to take refuge in a tribe, otherwise they caught you and sold you as a slave. So he had to take refuge in a tribe, in a strong tribe. But unfortunately, that tribe hated Jews, number one enemy, and second Christians, because they are anybody who is not Arab or doesn't follow the tradition of Arab are strangers, and they hate them. And so gradually he had no choice to follow their values and became hostile toward Jews. And imagine one day he beheaded around 800 Jews, men, and took their wives and their kids and sold in the market. That's Islamic value. If you read Quran chapter 4 and some of the chapters, just non-Muslims, wives and children belong to Muslim, and men, if they do not become Muslim, they have to be killed. So then everything after that in the Quran is just bloody, smelt blood, and it's blessing, and it's the good deed, because you believe that Christians, Jews, and other non-Muslims, they are polluting the world, then you're doing favor to the world and killing them, and unless they can become Muslim and they are clean. And so that much we knew, that he also said, the Prophet ﷺ said, Jesus and Moses, they were good prophets, but they were unable to complete their job, so he came to complete their job. But strangely, he even didn't know what he was talking about. He introduced himself as a sinner in the Quran, but Jesus is the sinless in the Quran, in their own Quran. And so now we are waking up Muslim. Have you ever thought about this? That a sinner cannot complete the works of a sinless one. So a sinless one is the one to complete the job. Anyhow, we were taught that Quran says Muhammad's name was in the Bible, in the Torah, and the Gospel predicted that somebody called Muhammad was going to come in the future. And then after 150 years to 200 years, some Islamic scholars searched the Bible and couldn't find the name of Muhammad there. And they couldn't criticize the Quran, because Quran says if you criticize the Quran, your fingertips must be chopped and then your hair. And so the easy way was, Christians and Jews corrupted the Bible. So that became a big, thing, a propaganda among Muslims. So everybody knows. I knew, and like many other Muslims, that was the information we got, that Bible was corrupted. You cannot trust it. Quran is only the trustable one. I knew a little bit more than that, because I am a classical Iranian poet, and classical Iranian poets are very much involved with mystic beliefs and mystic philosophies, and so I was very much interested to study the classical poetries and poems, and I saw that Iranian philosophers and scholars spoke highly about Jesus. And one of them is very famous in all over the world, especially concerning literature. He said from 13th century, he said, "Die at the feet of Jesus as I died completely." And because of simplicity of Jesus Christ, in mysticism, simplicity is important. And so Jesus has become a top person in mystic philosophy in Islamic countries and mainly in Iran. It's amazing. This is the witness of God in that country. So I raised that issue. Why the Prophet of Islam, these scholars didn't speak highly about the Prophet of Islam, and they're speaking about Christ. There's a reason for that. So I knew that much, but I didn't know particularly what was the reason other than his simplicity. And then decades after I read the gospel and gave my heart to Jesus, and I got the more information that I can share with Muslims. So that much I knew. But nobody dares to think that any Muslim is going to be a follower of Jesus Christ one day. It's ugly, especially for a committed Muslim like me. You never think about it. But I praise his name that he was working in my life even I was a young lad. I have some stories with him. I'm going to share one of them with you, maybe two. And my first story with Jesus started when I was in grade 7. I was around 12 years old. One day we had a sport class, and our teacher, the sport teacher, asked us that he didn't have any plan, so we had to go and play ourselves in the playground of the school. It was a boys' school, and so we 7 boys got together trying to find a game and play with each other. One of the boys said he knew a game. He rushed and took tore a paper from his notebook and divided into 7 and wrote something inside each, and then folded them and rolled them very well, and came and mixed them in his palm very well, and very well. Beth teaches me, but I'm slow in learning those things because we don't have some things in person. So, and he said that each one of us going to take one and open in turn. The things written inside each speaks about our future job or whatever. So we were trying to have fun with each other. A couple of us were trying to be the last one to open ours. I succeeded to become the last one, the 7th one. We were in grade 7 boys. I was the 7th one to open mine. The first one opened, there was written, "You'll become a teacher in the future." So we, shouted, clapped, showed excitement. The second one, "You'll become a doctor." The other one, a governor, engineer, something like that. Each time each opened, the excitement was there. I was thinking mine would be the best because I was more righteous than them. That's an Islamic mindset. If you're more righteous, you get more things, If you read the Quran, you see that the Prophet of Islam, according to Islam, is the most righteous one. He has, every right. He can even say to you, "I want your wife. You need to divorce your wife." Your wife becomes his wife. That's in Quran chapter 33. And he fell in love with his own daughter-in-law. And the adopted son had no choice to divorce her, and she became his wife. So, that's the righteous Muslim. In other words, the radical, committed Muslim are very wealthy because, a lot of things go to them. Anyhow, that was my mindset. I'm righteous, I'm always reciting the Quran, doing a whole lot of things. I need to get the best. But I opened mine, there was written, you become a follower of Jesus Christ.
No.
That was the most terrible thing I could have in the future. As a righteous Muslim, that's horrible. And I was embarrassed, and I became angry, and I attacked the boy badly. I'm punching him, he's crying, and other boys are trying to rescue him from my hand. And while I was punching him, hitting him, he shouted over me. He said, "Hang on a minute, come on, I didn't write it for you. You saw that I mixed them very well. You were just waiting there for the last one. We could have taken that. We took before you. You took it. I didn't put in your hand. Come on, don't blame me. It's your problem. Why you're blaming me? Why you're hitting me?" My little conscience told me, yeah, he's right. He didn't put in your hand. You took it. So I gave up, killing him. And I didn't play with them anymore. I went in a corner, crying there, dealing with my problem. That's horrible. 12 years old. They all had good things, I had bad things. But I never forget, I was painful and crying there. I asked myself a question, because Jesus is respected by Muslim either as a prophet. He was unable to finish his job, but he was nice. He gave life to dead people. They know that. I said, why it is horrible to be a follower of Jesus Christ if we respect him? So that question was not answered, and that story was not significant, but horrible. And then after I gave my heart to Jesus, I praised his name. I said, wow, you were just making, pieces of puzzles for me, and one day to put them together and see your glory, your love, your amazing grace. So I am here really by his grace. I have other stories, just they're all amazing. Anyhow, I finished my high school and entered university. In the university, I became a follower of this vicious Islamic leader who later became vicious to his own people too. And he hated the king of Iran because the king of Iran accepted Iran accepted Israel as a country. If any Muslim does that, must be killed. And the other person was killed was the president of Egypt. He was killed because of that, because Egypt also accepted, and he was killed by one of his pilots, from air to the ground. And so we were students, we had other reasons. I was a very good student in the university, and but unable to continue my study because of political economic problems. My family was not doing well economically, and my landlord kicked me out. I was unable to pay the rent, and so then, I had no choice to sleep under a bridge. Imagine a student, a sharp student, and two of my classmates gave me shelter, and it didn't happen. But I had targeted the place to sleep there. Anyhow, I slept 2 hours there, by the way. Just I was very tired and I didn't know what to do. Anyhow, that caused me and many other students to be angry at the ruling king that Iran is sitting on an oil base, very wealthy country, why should I be poor? And so our position united with each other, and also we had the motivation for Islam. We became his follower, and his voice became stronger. Unfortunately, by the help of American leaders and Western leaders, some of them, Jimmy Carter was in that time, the president of this country. They were thinking that they would help him to establish a stronger religious government in Iran to become a shield against Russian communism. But they didn't know that radical Islam is more dangerous than communism because of ideology. You know, you communists believe that it's the natural ideology, but they believe it's the godly ideology. It's not easy to change the godly ideology. And it just was surprising to many American politicians that after several months, you know, he captured American embassy. And we didn't know that. We were taught that's a miracle. He became a famous leader. So under his leadership, you know, we did a whole lot of protests, and the king of Iran left the country, and we captured. And because I was one of the famous boys, that's me there, and with two others, we were invited to start a revolutionary army in Iran. Now, Iran had a general powerful army, the most powerful army in the Middle East, equipped by American, principles. But committed Muslims never trust the general army. They need an army of soldiers that they are ready even to kill their mom and dad, their relatives. Read Quran chapter 9. All I'm talking here, they are in the Quran. It's just my book. Read my book, Islam and the Son of God. All references are there. And what happened, one of my friends who was from my state, he was a very famous clergy, top clergy too. He was trying to manage this, and he was killed mysteriously. And we realized that is from the leader, that leader I showed you. And it really shocked us and terrified us that this guy promised us freedom and democracy. Now, we had a little bit freedom in the time of king, but you always, will and wish for more. And he deceived us. He said that Islam gives you everything. And when I come there, you'll have freedom, more, and you will benefit from the, wealth of the country. But that really shocked us over several months that he is involved in terrorism. And so disappointed me and many others, and we stood away from him, so I didn't go. I left even the capital city because clergies were killing each other. They were thirsty for power, disappointed really. Wow, these people came to us humble, now they have rushed and grabbed the power, and they are even killing each other. So I went to my hometown and just started to work there, still with the same mindset, committed radical Islam. We need to prepare our young boys and girls, with war and terroristic techniques and tactics, go and capture Israel. That's the mindset of all committed Muslims. Israel belongs to the Islamic world. If you go to their, classes, sit in the geography class, Israel is not part of the globe. This belongs to their world. So, and also I did a whole lot of other things in the country concerning helping my people, roads and everything, our facilities from city, taking them to villages. That made me a lot famous in the area. But part of my also mission was to go and prepare young boys and girls with fighting techniques. That's me. I'm praying Islamic prayer actually there. And that's me there too, teaching young boys and girls. This is my wife, the one you're praying for her. I didn't bring her because she has a gun. She was actually the most aggressive girl among others. And that drew my attention. I said, wow, she's good. And committed Muslims really love aggressive boys and girls because they are the ones. It's not easy to kill others, It's not easy to go and kill yourself and other people. So you need aggressive people. And so for the same interest, we got married. This is our wedding day. You see how excited they are? And Iranian people are really exciting people. They are louder, you know, they are musical people. They come together. But committed Muslims are always serious. They hate, you know, joy. They are always angry. And I don't know, some of you are listening to the news, what's happening in Iran. Horrible things are happening there. Ladies are ready to die, and they are destroying that, you know, their child. Ladies are burning their burqas, their hijabs now. And they are telling them, we don't want you. Take your Islam and go to Saudi Arabia. Iran doesn't need you. So, anyhow. And this is after our marriage. Our first child, our eldest daughter, she's not covered like my wife because she's around 5 years old there. She was a taller girl. You cover your daughters from the age of 7 because age of 7 is the age of marriage in Islam. So if your daughter or grandchild is 7, she's a lady now, she's ready for a man, 20, 30, even 80. The Prophet of Islam was 49, he had a wife 6 years old, and the marriage was consummated while she was 9 years old. The child marriage is very popular in Islamic countries. It's a horrible, horrible thing. You know, if you go to the website and click child marriage, your heart will be broken. That some of them, you know, what's the word? There's a word I'm forgetting. That incontinent. Yeah, that's what they are. Their organs mix and they smell, and some of them die. But committed Muslims say it's their problem. How can Allah do a mistake? Allah said you can marry children. So it's girls' problem. So it's not a stop, you know, it's just practiced in all Islamic countries. My family, the younger one is not yet there. Here, I announced my candidates for Islamic Parliament as an opposition to the leader, but a nice opposition. It's not really easy to become an opposition like here. You speak against that politician in a nice way, you know. You just say, because you can get killed on the spot. He became the chief commander of the army too, Revolutionary Army. He is the most powerful man in the country, even though he has many oppositions. So his group wanted me to become their candidate because I was a famous boy in my hometown, but I rejected that 3 times. The last time a famous leader came to me and he begged me even. I said, no, I can't do that. And so that made my life hell after that. Even though we won the election, one of my colleagues became the president of the country with 88% of people's votes. So we won, we were the majority, and he lost, his group lost with 2%. But I mean, they don't believe in election. They just wanted, he was thinking he would amaze the international powers, and especially Western people, to show them how Iranian people are behind him. But when he saw 2%, and then he relied on the real spirit of Islam, which is power of the army. And he plotted 3 times to kill the president, and eventually the president was unable to live in the country. He left the country. And the government was demolished. Some were killed, some ran away. I was caught, like many others. I got my death sentence and kept in a cell with 4 others. We were all waiting on death row. All 4 were killed, and I'm here by the grace of the Lord Jesus, even though I didn't know him in that time. So you remember that ballad? It's amazing. Really amazes me. I mean, it's a long story. So a couple of my friends old friends. They put their life in risk. They were in high position. Secretly, they did something, and legally they released me temporarily, so I was able to run away from the country. Even though in the first initiative I was caught in the border. A religious guard truck hit me and threw me into a valley. They thought I was dead, but I didn't die. And people found me and then called my friends and family. They looked after me. It took me for 1.5 years to stand like this. But after that, we found a secure way and I was able to run away. They didn't kill me because this really news was spread everywhere that the government, because I was a famous man in my hometown, you know, Iranians in a sense are tribal people, so I was really famous among all my tribes, a big tribe. Now, in that time it was 700,000 people, you know. Anyhow, so the second time I was able to cross the border of Iran and Turkey and enter Turkey, I didn't know about my future, you know, what was going to happen to me. So I said to myself, I need to make myself busy. And I entered the university to do my doctorate. But I didn't know that Jesus was planning this for me to amaze me. With my supervising professor, I chose a major for my doctorate. That was, my doctorate is international management, but my major is how cultures, religions, and ideologies shape people's life. You see, I'm a Muslim doing that. He was planning me to do that, to use me in all over the world. I didn't know that. So I was going to compare cultures with major religions like Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Christianity. Zoroastrianism is the ancient Iranian religion, but Christianity is criticized of borrowing a lot from that religion. And you know, Taoism and ideologies like communism, humanism, and New Age, that are the problems in America now. So to compare them all together and see what kind of family they establish, what kind of ethic they have, what kind of leaders they have, what are their approaches to individual freedom, all this stuff, and to prepare my dissertation. No, I never thought really I would be able to find good things about Christianity, because we were always brainwashed that Christianity is the most immoral religion in the world. All Western immorality is from Christianity. Christianity is unable, you know, to establish itself with more, you know, good morals. I didn't think about that. Even though I was disillusioned with Islamic politics in Iran, but I was still thinking that Islam was the last and perfect religion, as all Muslims do. You learn it from childhood, that Islam is the perfect religion. That's what committed Muslims say in America. You know, Islam is similar to Christianity, but better. You know, they say that. And so, that was my thinking. But after collecting all data to make this book, prepare this book, I was amazed and shocked. Shocked, my so-called perfect religion was the least among all other religions. Least. Can you believe that? In America, Islam is called the peaceful religion. Nearly 2 billion Muslims think that they are following the perfect religion, and this religion is less than even paganism. It was shocking to me. And I discovered that Christianity was super in everything. Everything I'm saying that it's not a spiritual thing. This is not a spiritual study. You study a little bit, about, philosophy. I had subject, philosophy, anthropology, human relationship. A little bit you understand. But my major understanding is about social values, relational values. Everything is amazing here. Freedom, leadership, family culture, organizational culture. I don't have time to talk about them. They are really delicious and yummy. They are so powerful. And that's why really, really you need to encourage your children and grandchildren, at least if you have given up, to prepare yourself, at least help them to prepare themselves. Because that's the only way you can rescue this country. Politicians are unable to save this country, even the best of them. Because you're the salt and light of the world. You need to do that. When you go to politics, even the best politicians, Christian politicians are going there and compromising. It's not easy, politics, so many times, ugly. But it should start, it should come from the root. They are amazing. Let me just give you an example, just one example, because I can give you example. I can speak to you here 3 hours. They are amazing. You are the organization of Jesus Christ. Church is the organization of Jesus Christ. In this organization, the gospel says everybody must love one another like the members of one body. Have you thought about it? You have to love one another like the members of one body. You see my body members? They really love one another. I'm 68 years old. In the last 68 years, I said, okay, several years I was little, I didn't understand. But in 65 years, I never saw for a single moment my hand say to my leg, I hate you. They love each other. Something happens to my finger, my eyes cry. You see, this is the practical way. This is the gospel, wants to wake us up. You're the organization of Jesus Christ, church. That's the value of the church. And it says, the greatest in that organization is the servant of all. He said that, learn from me. I am washing your feet. You learn from me. No, why? Why? Why a leader should be humble? There is a logical reason for that. And that humility has affected the Western countries, and that made Western countries creative people. Totalitarianism doesn't allow you to express your opinion. Only humble leader allows you. You talk. You're free to talk. Opinions cross each other, and the best opinion is revealed there. You say, aha. I like that one. And then you choose it, you become a creative person. That's the reason Western countries became very creative, because of this book, Bible. Not because there were some genius people. No. They realized, some of them said, okay, we need to use that leadership model, that organizational model. Now, I was a professor in one of the universities in Sydney for 8 years. I taught this stuff. They are taught in the universities. They don't say this is the Christian culture. They say it's the Western culture. They don't say it's the culture from the gospel. Western culture. This organizational culture is known the best organizational culture in the world. The world's most successful businesses in the world are following the leadership model of Jesus Christ and the model of the church. They say the best organization, the most creative organization is that organization that people are in harmony with each other, and the leadership is the flat leadership. That's the business language. Participative leadership, dynamic leadership, open leadership. We call it humble leadership. They are following that. That's the creative one. The most successful businesses are following this with the Christian ethic. That's another amazing thing. But some of these guys who are billionaires, they are making money, they are fighting Christianity in this country. They are making money by Christian culture, they are crushing Christian culture. And nobody is, in America and Western countries are shouting, hey, you're stealing my values, making money, and you want to crush my values. That amazed me. And I discovered that this organizational culture is the win-win culture. Win-win, not win-lose culture. That's the only culture of Jesus Christ. No other religion and culture has it. Win-win. Because Jesus came to this world for no one to lose, for everybody to win. And that win-win culture made Western countries very successful in everything. Actually, that was a shield to Western countries against communism. It's amazing that communism ideology started in the West, in Germany. You know the communism? Marx and Engels, they are the Marx, he's the author of this political communism, social communism. He was a German guy. But it didn't work in Germany, in England, in America. Why? I mean, East Germany just was occupied by communists. That was not by their will to become, communists. Why didn't it work here? Because of Christian culture. Because of the win-win culture. You know, the capital owners realized that if they want to be successful, they need to follow Christian values, not to exploit the right of people, to be cruel to their workers. And the Western countries boomed in everything. Communist countries went down in everything. Amazing. It just amazed me in every way. Their approaches to freedom, oh, that's yummy. That's so powerful. I'm not going to talk about it. If you have a question later, just ask me and I'll respond to you. Why only Christianity, only Bible believes in individual freedom? No other ideology and religion believes that. Doctrinally, they cannot support freedom. So you see, I have gone to university to make myself busy. What's happening here? It amazed me. It changed my worldview towards Christianity. But it didn't make me a follower of Jesus Christ. I didn't know him spiritually. I praise his name. He opened the door for me to know him. He did a miracle in my life. I lost $30,000. That was the miracle. My business partner, a Muslim man, took my own money and he's run away to Germany. I couldn't chase him legally. I was trying to find a friendly way to approach him. Didn't know any of his friends in Turkey. But somebody said to me, hey, those people who were coming sometimes to him, they are Christians. You can go to their church and ask them, maybe they can give you an idea. So for the first time in my life, I'm going to a church for my money. And actually, it wasn't scary. You don't go to a church, especially a fugitive Muslim. A Muslim should not go to a church. But I was a fugitive Muslim, had a death sentence, and I was not interested to create another death sentence for me here. But money was big. Money pushed me to go. And I actually entered the church. I was shocked. They were playing music there. Music in a worship place? Music is evil in Islam. And I was more shocked that there were a couple of ladies also standing here with men and singing to everybody. You can't see a lady in a mosque. You cannot see a lady. They are separated. You do not see their faces. But here, ladies are talking in front of people. It scared me. Now, politically, it scared me. Oh my goodness, if a Muslim comes and sees me here and reports to Iran, they are going to make the life hell for my family. You know, because your individual problem is not the individual problem in Islam. It's the problem of the whole family and tribe, unless they kill you. Anyhow, I said, I'm going to sit behind everybody there. You know, they were standing and singing just close to the main door. You never know that something strange happens, so I can run out easily, you know, go. But nothing happened. After the fellowship, they came to me and welcomed me very warmly. I shared my story with them, and they became so sad that that guy took my money and ran away. And they offered their help to me. They said, we can help you. We'll be able to find him in Germany. We have many friends there. We'll write to them, they search and they find him. Keep in touch with us. If we find any trace, you know, of him, we'll let you know. I said, how can I keep in touch with you? They said, come to the church. Well, they had a reason for that, because they were so busy in other days working. Some of them were refugees like me, and didn't have time. Only Sunday they were free in the church. And in that time there was no any cell phone or phone. I even didn't have phone. I didn't have phone to contact them, so I had to go and see them. And it was scary for me really to continue to go to church, but I had to go there to prove that I was right, and also encourage them to, chase it. I was amazed week after week by seeing their attitudes, their love, their kindness, their respect, their honesty, their sincerity. You never think as a Muslim about them that they are nice people. Honestly, it was amazing to me. And one day I was talking to the pastor of that church. He was an American, amazing brother. He led thousands of Iranians to Christ. I was talking to him, his wife here, and when he finished his talk, wife started to talk. It was amazing that wife was talking in front of a stranger. That's not a culture among committed Muslims. Your wife doesn't talk, and some of them even do not let you to go out. Quran said in chapter 33, ladies should not go out, but if they go out, they have to cover themselves. Nobody knows who they are. So, not only that, she is talking, and he is looking at her face and nodding in favor. Oh my goodness, what kind of respect is this? Where is this coming from? Are these people infidel? They are ungodly people? What a nice infidelity, I said. It amazed me really to see these attitudes from people. We call our religion perfect religion, but our wives in perfect prison. So that helped me to listen to them carefully. And I was really amazed by their teachings about everything, especially about God. They were saying that God is the personal God in the Bible. Now I had learned, I told you, through philosophy and mystic philosophy, gods are impersonal. They do not reveal themselves. They are non-revealing God. They are non-personal God. But these people are teaching that God is personal and God must be personal. Must be? Yeah. Because only personal God can have image. Only personal God can have brain. Because brain image can be attributed only to a personal being. You cannot say an impersonal God or a non-person has a brain. Doesn't make sense. Non-person has a brain. They were right. Only personal being can have image and create or invent anything and put his or her image in that. That made sense to me. Wow. And then I realized if God is not personal, he doesn't have image, then he cannot create. So the creation in Islam, in Buddhism, and other religions is false. God cannot create. And if God is not personal, he is not functional. He cannot do anything for you. And especially say to you, oh, I love you. Because only personal being can tell you, I love you. And also that, the knowledge motivates that love, provokes such an intimate relationship. Gods in all other religions are impersonal gods. They are not known. They are unknown. You remember that Acts chapter 17, it's the Greek philosophy. Gods are unknown. Paul saw a sign there, it said, unknown God, but I can make that God known to you. Because Paul believed that God is personal. You know personal God, you can reveal that personal God to people. People can know God. They are unknown. In all other religions, people are following unknown God. Unknown God. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that shocking? You're following an unknown God. That means you cannot talk about that God. You cannot evangelize that God. He is unknown. Why you're evangelizing about him? You see, they are doing something you do not do that in your practical life. You don't follow a person whom you do not know. Do you go to find a person in the street? Sir, madam, I don't know you, but I want to become, your follower. I want to follow you. You don't do that. Practically, it's not practical. That's what they are doing in other religions. But God is personal here. You can know him. He is functional. You can understand his love. It was amazing to me. Then after that I had a dream. The following Sunday I went to the church. I heard my dream from the pulpit. In my dream I was in my father's house, exactly in my father's house, alone there. There was earthquake, houses were destroyed, people died, scary situation. I cried to God, I said, I'm alone here, nobody is here to help me. Jesus revealed himself to me in the dream and said to me, I'll help you come out from your father's house. The following Sunday I have gone to the church. Somebody is preaching about those verses in the gospel said a wise person builds his house on a solid ground, not on sand. In his message, I heard the same sentence. Come out from your father's house. That's the name of my book, The House I Left Behind. So I rushed out. My father's house collapsed in the dream, and he is saying here, your father's house is built on sand. Everything can destroy it. Come out and live in the house that Jesus has built for you. I said, am I having another dream here? That dream, their teachings, my university study all encouraged me to read their book personally. I grabbed the New Testament, started to read that. New Testament is amazing. New Testament reveals God to you. and puts your hands in the hand of God. You just become thirsty for God to come and live in your heart. That's John chapter 1. He is the Word. The Word was eternally there. You know, the Word is the definition of God in philosophy, in all religions, in Greek philosophy. Philosophically, what is God? The response is the Word in all religions. But what kind of Word? That makes the Bible different to all others. In all others, impersonal Word, non-revealing Word. We don't know what kind of word it is. But Bible said, no, you know. The world became flesh. Why? Because the word is personal. Why did he want to reveal himself? Because he wants you to know him, to fall in love with him with knowledge. Because love is not the blind unity. It's based on knowing. That verse 14. He revealed his justice, his glory, his truth to you, to know, to see, to realize, and fall in love. And they say, okay, come. When he comes in your heart, the other guy rushes out. Why? Because they cannot live with each other in one room. They cannot be roommates. They are enemy. One comes, the other one goes. Now, logically, you're convinced. The mighty God is with me, Emmanuel. That's why Paul says, if God is for us, in Romans chapter 8, who is against us? You see how powerful the gospel is, how logical it is? It amazed me. I finished the gospel for the first time, started to read it the second time. Second time was amazing. Second time caused me to bow down in front of Jesus because of his love. His definition for love is the true definition. He says love must be unconditional. True love cannot be conditional. Have you ever said to your spouse, honey, I love you, but 85%? My brothers and sisters, I just want to tell you how mighty this book is, how mighty the words of Christ are, how logical and rational and convincing they are. He says love must be 100%, not even 99.99%. You cannot say to your beloved one, I love you so much, 99.99%. Come on, honey. Come on, it's just almost 100. Why your honey is not convinced? Because that 0.1% is ugly. I will love you with the depths of my heart for 64 days. If a year is 365 days, I will love you 364 days, but one day I'll just spend with somebody else. You see how mighty Christ is, how logical he is, how he convinced me. I said, wow, he's really mighty. That's why he tells us, take your cross and follow me. Love me more than everybody, 100%. And some people said to me, he's selfish. Oh, love me more than your wife, your husband, your children. No, he's saying that. Please don't stay by the ocean of love and be marveled and even write songs for that ocean. No. threw yourself into the ocean. So you become the child of peace and love and justice. You'll be able then, with that unconditional love, to love your spouse, love your family, love your society, love your enemy too. I said, that's why he changed a terrorist guy like Paul. He was a terrorist. That's why he changed me. And I knelt in front of him and said, yeah, you're my Lord. And after that, he did other amazing things in my life. You see, I'm smiling now. This is the American brother. He died at the beginning of this year. And we are talking to those two Muslims in Turkey. And then brought my wife and 3 daughters. They joined me in Turkey. My wife didn't know I was a follower of Christ. I couldn't tell her. You remember she had a gun. But that was not the major reason. The major reason was she knew Islam. In Islam, if you change your religion, your wife, your spouse should divorce you on the spot and cooperate with religious leaders to kill you. I didn't want to push her to that chaos, especially with those evil leaders in Iran. I wanted her to come see the changes in my life. The changes are amazing. Even though she was an aggressive girl, she wouldn't dare to talk any word beyond my words. I could crush her. You know, that Quran said you can beat your wife, you know, it's in the Quran. That change I'm talking about. She came and she was amazed by seeing me. You know, I was happy. I was playing with my children. I was washing dishes in the, kitchen. And sometimes I forgot she was there. I was singing with joy. Singing, music, illegal. She thought I had gone crazy. In the second week, she asked me, why you're doing this? She was surprised. She was amazed. She was shocked. That was the time I didn't know how to answer. I started to be scared. Because if she knows now I have lost my power, she's the boss now.
As it should be.
And she is the boss. She did minimum, she can take the children and go back. Minimum. So what to say now? It's just 7 days, Lord. Why you're rushing, Lord? Why you're not giving time for me? I'm just crying in my heart. Unless you want to come and help me. And I praise his name. He came and helped me. I love him so much. I truly love him. I know his values are beautiful, but I have experienced him practically. And that's why I'm here to encourage you to love him so dearly. That's the solution for everything. That's the solution for America. Nobody is going to change America but your love for Jesus Christ. You're opening the space for him to show his might through your life, through your children, through your society's love. He came and helped me. I told her, she was terrified. She didn't go back because Jesus had done something for me back in Iran. But before she was going to join me, she decided, because Ayatollah said that parents can give their 9 years old daughter or above, even for short marriages. You know, in Islam you can have a wife for 1 hour. You take the hand of the lady and go to a clergy and he writes a certificate for you for 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, whatever you wish. And she was terrified. She knew that law, but she had 3 daughters. We had 3 daughters. It was terrifying to her to see her babies in the arms of men, especially when your husband in an opposition, they do every evil thing to have your children. Every evil thing. So she vows, I'm going to go and join my husband, I'm not going to come back again. That was for me. And so she didn't go back. She remained there, and week after week she discovered that I was changed. She said, really, gospel changed him? In my absence, without asking me, without sharing with me, telling me, she takes my gospel to look at it and see what is there to change people. She didn't say that to me. She was, because she didn't want to confirm what I have done. You know, it's dangerous for her. But I caught her one night with my gospel. It was actually around, early in the morning. It was 2 o'clock. I woke up. I couldn't sleep. And I didn't see her in the room. She didn't come. I wore it, and then I went out to the living room. I saw she was reading a book in the corner there. And I went close. I saw that's my gospel. I said, what are you doing? It's 2 in the morning. What are you doing there? Oh, you're reading my gospel? And I saw she was reading Matthew chapter 19. Matthew chapter 19 is the most powerful chapter for Muslim ladies. Matthew chapter 19 says 1 husband, 1 wife. Islam says 1 husband, many wives, and even short-term wives. She never liked that. She didn't have any support in an Islamic country. She opened the gospel randomly. Matthew chapter 19 comes. She reads a little bit, and then she says, oh, this book must be a good book. When I saw that, I said, oh, that chapter is an amazing chapter. She said to me, she smiled, she said, it's not your business, go and sleep. I went and shut the door, cried like a baby. I said, you're mighty evangelist. You know how to touch the minds and hearts. Glory be to your name. So that opened the door for me, after that, to be persistent and encourage her to join ladies' meeting. And she went, after many struggles. She was afraid, really. She was terrified. She didn't want to reveal that. Other people see her. That could be a threat to the family. Anyhow, she went there. And she was amazed seeing ladies there, their experiences. She saw them free, truly free. Oh wow, they are speaking with freedom. A lady said, this morning the Lord spoke to my heart. The other one said, the Lord spoke to me yesterday. She said, who is this Lord who is speaking to ladies? Ladies, in Islam, the Lord never spoke to the prophet of Islam. He never heard the voice of God. He said, just an angel came and talked to me. I'm following a perfect religion, she said, but I am in a perfect prison. They are following our so-called imperfect religion, but they're perfectly free. How can it be? And she came home and I asked her, how was it? She said, yeah, it was good. I said, are you going to continue? Yeah, I think so. And after, sometime she had a dream. In the morning she said her dream to me, and I jumped and brought my Bible, showed her that it was in the Bible. She was walking with Jesus in her dream with several other ladies. All of it on a beautiful pasture, actually. All of a sudden they come to a very steep valley. Jesus and other ladies walk easily through the valley, but she was afraid to fall down. Even a lady comes to help her. She was afraid. Jesus calls her there don't be afraid, just take your first step. She took the first step, the valley was lifted up. The whole land became flat, she walked to Jesus. I jumped and brought my Bible, opened Isaiah chapter 40. Even Gospel speaks about that. All valleys and mountains will become level. Why? Because mighty God is walking in front of you. You need to trust Him. She started to cry. I cried. I asked her, why you crying? She asked me, why you're crying? I said, I don't know. Something is happening. And that softened her heart toward the Lord Jesus. She started to read the gospel seriously. And after 2.5 months, she gave her heart to the Lord. And the Lord changed the entire family and put a smile on their faces. Isn't that amazing? Changed the radical model family. Not only that, He has been using us in a mighty way. We are touching the hearts of millions of Muslims. I have led Muslim scholars to the Lord, clergies to the Lord, rank and file Muslims to the Lord, just with this logic of Christ, touching their minds and hearts, encouraging them, you are created in the image of God. You have capacity and the capability to understand. You were given power to allow your dignity to be protected by Christ. He's the only one sees you very, very valuable. And they are giving their heart to the Lord. And especially they are seeing with this technology, with this, digital media, they are seeing the vast difference between Islam and Christ. And they are giving their heart to the Lord. Iran is the #1 country for killing many Christians among all Islamic countries. It's the #1 country also for many coming to the Lord. Millions of Iranians in the last 40 years have given their heart to the Lord. Millions. And the Lord has spoken about, I'm getting emotional, about Iran more than 50 times. It's in the Bible. He's going to establish His kingdom there. Change many Muslims. I'm so fortunate that I am part of that. And I praise God that I know that some of you are going to pray for me and to start this, to back my ministry. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. If you have got any questions, so I hope I'll be able to answer your questions. Aren't you tired? Yes.
I have a really dumb question. Islam is the religion. Muslim is the...
Followers.
Is what?
Followers.
The followers.
I am a Muslim, that means I am following
So it's not
you.
a nationality of sorts, or is it? Like, when you say Jewish, people are Jewish. It's a religion, and it's also, I guess, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Jew is a race, it is a tribal name.
Okay, so...
But Islam means submission in Arabic. Islam is an Arabic word.
Okay.
It means surrendering yourself. So Muslim means the one who has submitted himself.
Follow
Yeah.
Islam. Okay.
It's like Christian. You're a Christian following Christ, Muslim following Islam.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 33 actually, strangely. 32, I was just, reading, and it was the beginning of 90, just the first week of 90 that I was baptized with my wife. We were together. Things happened at the end of 89, and then the 90 was the beginning of our baptism in Christ.
Were you in Turkey?
Yes, yes, Turkey, yeah. In that time, there was freedom in Turkey, run by army, you know, because Turks always wanted to bring Islam, army was against that. So it was ruled by army, there was freedom. They wanted to be a part of European Union, to prepare their country for freedom, but they didn't succeed. Now, the leader in Turkey, the president, is a Muslim Brotherhood, actually. You know, the vicious group is the Muslim Brotherhood. Actually, is the mother of terrorism, Islamic terrorism in the world. Osama bin Laden learned from Muslim Brotherhood. ISIS, they learned. Our Ayatollah Khomeini learned from Muslim Brotherhood. Yeah. Any other question?
How long have you been coming to America? When did you start coming to America?
I was invited in 2003 for a Presbyterian conference in Indiana. That was 2003. And then after that I was invited a lot, so I said, possibly we need to go there. And also I was pastoring a church in Sydney in that time. In less than a year, in about a year or 1.5 years, I led 150 Muslims to Christ. And I saw my approach to them was very influential, so I decided, to search for a way to make it global. And so America in that time was good in media, television, so I came here. God opened the door for me to use television to Islamic world. And now you can reach out to Muslim from a corner, even from here, to the world. Media has become very global. So because of that, I had also some difficulties in America with the immigration. Unfortunately, in some part of immigration, socialists and Muslims have penetrated, and they made our life difficult in Pennsylvania. So that was another reason for us, to go back. And our grandchildren are there. And the branch of ministry was the center in Australia for us.
You've seen a lot of changes in America.
I'm sorry?
I said you've seen a lot of changes in America in a
Oh,
short period of
yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, every evil thing is happening in America. It's affecting other parts of the world. And so we pray for America continually, and also we speak out. Yeah. Somebody other questions on that? Okay.
So when you escaped, you had a death sentence. Are they no longer concerned about you?
I couldn't hear the second part.
Do they no longer care that you escaped?
Oh no, they always want us to be dead. They always want us, But
You can't go back.
praise God. I mean, I haven't spoken to any civil police, I'm just in the hand of the Lord. But God saved me 4 times from death threat. Here in America, in Europe. Yeah, they want to kill us. But we have a time. They don't understand that. If Jesus doesn't want me to be killed, nobody can kill me. So that's my motivation. But the UN has lots of problems now. Sometimes it makes them busy. They don't have time that much for terrorism. But I was not going to be killed by Iranian terrorists. I was going to be killed by other country terrorists. A Pakistani guy wanted to kill me here, and the police caught him. I didn't know. They just discovered, I don't know through what. So they caught him. So the radical Muslims just hate me to reveal these things about Islam. Islam is a secret religion. In Islam, lying is permissible, deception is permissible for the spread of Islam. The Quran, in many places, say Allah is the best of deceivers, like in Quran chapter 8 verse 30, Quran chapter 3 verse 54. He is the best of deceivers. Imagine if your leader is the best of deceiver and you're committed to that leader, what will you be? In their judiciary system, they are selling the book in Amazon called Reliance of the Traveler. It's written there, deceiving non-Muslim is legitimate. It's $40, that book. You know, it's in Amazon. So they are full of deception. You know, they are just, with that deception, they are everywhere. They are against you. They are saying that I'm the biggest liar. You know. But God is revealing, you know, just as I mentioned to you, one of them is the digital media. We are putting the Quranic verses there for them. So this is your Quran, please read it. Because they don't read the Quran. They don't know the Quran, and they are not free to read the Quran in their own mother language. And they are believing Islam is a superstitious religion. Oh, if I read the Quran and I doubt in my God, He is going to make me a stone, curse me. You know, something like that. And also, if you read, you're courageous to express your unhappiness with the Quran. Quran is the most immoral book. There are ugly things in the Quran mentioned there, you know. And so Muslims do not know that. When you reveal it to them and they see that, first they are shocked. Maybe that's not my Quran, that's your fourth Quran. Then I ask them, look, don't worry about this one, just open your Quran in your house. Go to the verse and read in your mother language. And then they are shocked. So we are revealing that, but the committed Muslim, they believe in deception. It's a political religion. We need to get this religion to rule over the world. So people need to be forced in any possible way. Cultural force, which America is struggling with it, you know. Politicians need to vote on millions of Muslims here. They need to speak in favor of Islam, you know. You know, they don't dare to criticize Islam. They are just free to criticize Christianity, to demonize Christianity. Not Islam, not socialism, not others. So they are taking advantage of this. And I say to you that maybe 99% of Muslims here in this country, they do not know what is written in the Quran. So the leaders, committed leaders here, are trying hard to keep us shut, make us quiet, silent. But silence is not going to help. You need to speak out. You know, unfortunately, with this going, America is going to have a bad future. You know, America believes in politicians more than Jesus. That's not going to happen. You know, maybe America is going to be just like Eastern Europe, fall into the hands of socialists. And it will be too late. You know, it's happened in Germany, you know. All of the Christians kept quiet when Hitler was doing the evil thing. And even some of them supported him. But when he finished killing communists, killing Jews, killing gypsies, now the turn is for killing the citizens. It was too late. He killed many Christians. You know, it was too late. So America, it's amazing. I'm begging America. I'm begging you, even you do not listen to me. Some of you, I'm your brother, I'm a humble brother. But you won't listen to me, some of you. You won't sacrifice, be ready to sacrifice yourself for the Lord. You know, I'm not a type of person to go just to preach and encourage people. I really want people to be committed to the Lord Jesus because bad days are waiting for us. And it's not easy for you to understand because your culture is so easy culture. You know, you have insurance, you know, everything. But our persecuted brothers, they understand. They don't have anything. You know, I'm supporting a couple in Bangladesh. They're ex-Muslims. The wife's mother died. She's the only child. She went to have her mother's house, and now the families have plotted that she's an adopted child. She's the child of the mother. You see how corrupt the country is? She's an adopted child, she cannot have the property. So now, the families, the extended families are having, and they are desperate, they don't have anything. They have said, if you come back to Islam, you're going to have it. You see? So they are also followers of Christians. We are also followers of Christians. You know, it's not easy for you to understand it. I don't know, maybe you need to go and live in Bangladesh for 1 week or 2. You know, I'm really, it's my heart I'm talking to. I love you, and I love my brothers and sisters in the Lord, but this is the reality.
Well, my question is that when Beth introduced you and you kind of described yourself as a radical Muslim, that's a term, my perception is radical Muslim is a term that we created.
I don't think it's because of echo of my language. I'm not able to hear you properly.
Okay.
I hear your voice, but I'm not able to distinguish the words. I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay.
Speak a little bit louder.
So you describe yourself as a radical Muslim, but that to me is a term that Americans have adopted, especially after 9/11 and all of that. When you were a Muslim, did you consider yourself to be a radical Muslim, or were you just a Muslim?
Well, we were challenged as young people. If you're a Muslim, yes, I'm a Muslim. So if you want to be a sincere Muslim, yeah. So then the Prophet of Islam says, this is the qualities of the sincere Muslim. Oh, what I need to do? Well, you need to prepare yourself to kill infidels. You need to prepare yourself to take Islam to the end of the world. So when I was part of the politics there, we were discussing, you know, one of the traps we had for America was this. We need to turn all black people, encourage them to become Muslim, to tell them that Christianity is the religion of white slave trading people. You know? So, and that's why I was talking to John actually yesterday, the day before yesterday, I met a sister, a black sister. She's just like sold out to the Lord. I was just so excited. I said to John, I said, anytime I see a black brother and sister, they love the Lord, it just makes my heart so joyful because of the evil plan we had there. So we were trying in every way. I mean, one of our ambassadors from Sweden, I was talking with him, and he said the West is experiencing a death-like sleep. You can penetrate. You can establish Islam there. So we were planning in every way to, establish the so-called perfect Islam in the Western countries. Even we were believing, we are going to save them. So that was our motivation. How to save them? Well, even if terrorism is necessary, to frighten them. Normally people in the world, with fear, they change their religion. All Iranians, Islam is one of the biggest religions in the world. Only Indonesia became Muslim without war. All others, Muslim, because of war, they invaded, they forced people to become Muslim. They slaughtered. In India is the #1 country for millions of people were slaughtered. Because in Islam, you don't have any compassion toward pagans. And there is a little bit compassion toward Christianity and Judaism. In Quran chapter 9, if you pay money, you can buy your life every year. It's in the Quran, verse 29, 30. But it's conditional. If the leaders want you to become Muslim, they do not accept your money. So that's called the life money. It's called jizya in Arabic. So that's such a concession for you. You can say, not ladies, men only, because ladies and girls belong to Islamic world, no matter who you are. And so men buy their life every year, but it's not easy. It's not that you're going to just pay them. For about 1,000 years, they practice. Quran says they have to be humiliated when they give money. So humiliation is really unbearable in some areas. They humiliate you very badly, men. So that was the ceremony for about a year, happened in Islamic countries, and with the spread of colonialism, it finished in many Islamic countries. And so that's why with war, they penetrated everywhere. So that's your plan, to penetrate and establish Islam. And many of them, almost 99% of them, really are sincere that Islam is the perfect religion. We need to die, we need to kill, we need to frighten them to imagine. I mean, after September 11, I myself was a follower of Christ. I said, okay, this is the end of Islam in Western countries. But it was the beginning of Islam, actually. Look at our senates here in America. They are crying for Islam. Islam is under pressure in America. Americans are very cruel toward Muslims. Muslims have freedom in this country. Those Muslims, they do not have freedom in their own country. They have freedom here, but our senates here, senators, are crying. They are under pressure here. It's just everything has become political here. And so the other Muslims are sincere. They are going and talking to them. They are good in lobbyism. They just want to establish Islam here. That's what I was thinking. Many others were thinking.
Do you have a new book in the works?
Do I have?
Are you working on a new book to write?
I'm very busy. I have a book actually to complete it. I've written it. Somebody has looked at it. I need to work on it again. So I'm very busy out traveling, speaking, and I'm normally recording every week when I'm home 2 or 1 video I'm putting online to reach out to Muslims, especially in this time that there are a lot of disillusionment in other countries. So altogether I have written 4 books. And so there is another one that I don't have honestly time. I'm very busy. I really love writing, investigation. Still, I listen to many scholars from other religions, just to see what they are talking and in what areas they have problems. So a lot of things for me to write. I have got some actually things in my mind for other books. Like one of the things I really love to write is about the image. The word image of God. A fascinating thing. So I'm very busy.
Again, what was your PhD in?
My PhD was, sorry?
What was your subject of your PhD again?
International management. But my major was about culture and religions.
I looked at your background and how you're evangelizing for Christ, and I just think you're a modern day Paul.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Yeah, I believe God is using me in a mighty way, But I need to be like Apostle Paul. We need to be. We all need to be, like them. I get encouraged for that, but I don't lose myself to be proud, because I have to be, like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it your opinion that there are any good things about Islamic religion?
Do I have any good things about the Islamic religion?
Yeah,
Well, everything has good things in it, you know.
yeah.
Hitler had some good things too. I read really an amazing story about him, that one day he saw one of his soldiers was laming, and he stopped him, he called him, he said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "There is a nail there, I don't have the time to take it." And he said, "Okay, take off your shoes." And he gave his shoes to him, and he said, "I need to understand my soldier." He wore it with the nail. Isn't that nice? But you don't judge people only with their niceness.
Yeah.
You know, the judge here in this country, the law in this country is not going to appreciate you even for in entire your life you do not break the law. They are not going to come and give you a medal. But anytime they catch you speeding, or you cross a red light, they catch you and they give you a ticket. So you judge people with the evil things they are doing, and their good things is not going to cover that. We are the followers of Jesus Christ. That's in all other religions. If your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds, for example, if you kill 2 people but you feed 3 people, it's okay. You know, that's the baseless doctrine they have. And so, but Jesus is to reveal the darkness. Jesus is saying to you, just allow me to come and capture all your entire heart, so there is no any place for Satan to live there. And so that's why, yeah, there are nice things in the Quran. You know, lots of good things Quran is speaking about. You know, be nice to other people, but also you can kill other people. You know, Muslims actually are saying they believe that heaven is under the feet of mothers. But the Quran says your father can beat your mother too. That she is standing over the heaven, I think that's a lie. That's it. So that's why sometimes dictators do good things just to cover up. But those good things are there. The Prophet of Islam spoke about good things. By the way, sometimes even the most evil person needs the kindness of love. And in that time, when you're a cruel person, you need love, you possibly speak in favor of love and kindness and justice. But just the day after you become the same person. So there are good things in Hinduism, in Buddhism, in Islam, in everything, but spiritually they are all in darkness. Spiritually, even forget about Islamic cruelty. I speak to Muslims that you're following the true and mighty God. They say, yeah. Okay, that mighty God is everywhere? Yes. Just near you? Yes. He is the most loving and merciful God? Oh yes. So merciful God is living by you, just is standing near you, but He is not able to help you. He says to you, I may be able to help you in the life after. You're saying that, sir, I am caught up in the chains of Satan. I'm chained. I'm tired. You know, I'm unjust. I was dealt unjustly. Please help me. Or maybe in the life after. And I give them example. If your child is crying to you, Mom and Dad, help me. Do you say to your child, yes, darling, I'll help you, but in the life after? It's not practical. That's why our God is practical. You cry to Him, immediately He comes. You take 1 step, He takes 100 steps. That's the nature of love. If you love someone, you're not indifferent. If he is the God full of mercy, full of love, full of justice, he must come to save you now. If he doesn't come, kick him out. He is not the true God. Because the just God cannot stay indifferent toward your cry. As long as you're crying to him, look, I don't want to be in the chain of Satan. He must come and save you. That's the nature of God in the Bible, not the nature of God in Hinduism or in Islam, in other religions. They just wait for the life after. And the surprising thing, shocking thing is this: they do not give you confidence. Or maybe I can help you. The prophet of Islam is saying, my religion is perfect, everybody must follow him. And then you talk to him, okay, you're asking me to follow you. Do you have confidence about your future? No. No, sir, you don't know the future. You want me to follow you? He never thought about that because he was ignorant. He was not a true prophet. That's the case with all other believers and religions. You know, a Shinto followers, an evangelist, he said to me that he is interested in speaking about future. He was drawing my attention to listen to him. I asked him a simple question. I said, sir, do you know about your own future? He said, no. I said, that's strange, sir. You don't know about your future, but you want to talk about my future to me. Evangelist. He never thought about that. Why? Because they are just living in the circle of a religion. They haven't been able to go and read others, compare, see which one is logical. So that's the case. It's getting closer to the morning. Thank you so much. God bless you.
While they're getting ready, let me just mention a couple little things that might be helpful. I put a piece of paper out there. David, can I have the book? If you're interested in his story, this is wonderful reading. And you don't read just about his story, but you learn a lot about Iran and Iranian culture. I find this one just delightful and an easy read. So I put a list there. Put your name down, and maybe your phone number might be helpful. So we'll order a box of books, and they'll be here in another couple weeks. So when we live in Tiffin, but when we're back to our house here at Chip, I'll come over here to the church and leave the books for those of you who would like to have them. The other two, we have, I think, probably plenty of copies. The one that says Christ above all, that's the one where he compares the various religions. And is that the one with the emails, right? Your emails with the Imam? Yeah. The last 50 pages is interesting. I like it because it only gives you 8 or 10 pages about each religion, so you can learn something about them, and there's some questions and answers. But at the back, one time he was in a situation kind of like this, and a Muslim imam, a teacher, stood up and started to hassle him and give him a hard time. And Daniel is all so quiet and so humble, and he said to the man, now as Muslims, we were taught to respect one another, weren't we? We, right? He said, yes. He said, well, if you will respect me and sit down, I will be glad to talk with you afterwards. So the man quietly sat down. And afterwards they began to talk, and he said, well, I can't possibly finish this whole conversation, but if you'd like, I would write emails back and forth with you. The last 50 pages website, Exodus from Darkness, so you can hear his testimony again on that. You can get all sorts of things, presentations he's done, and he has a YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, Daniel Shayesteh, and you can learn all kinds of good things about Islam and other things as well. Thank you.
We're gonna go from the paper. So
Let's stand and worship. After something like that, wonderful. Thank you, God. Thank you for sharing it. I have heard my people cry. around and have some treats back there and talk with the doctor here about some books at the back table. Thank you.